Hello everybody and welcome to another Taco Tuesday. This is January the 19th and we are here at Taco Hut, which gets a lot of play and a lot of positive accolades on the interwebs in Flower Mound Cares, which is a source of boundless entertainment. If you are not a member of that Facebook group, you absolutely should be. Also gets repped a lot in the city of Lewisville page, and on Yelp has great reviews. It is in a gas station here off of Business 121, and so it doesn't look like much, but they say the tacos are amazing. I will say we got, 3 pastor on corn, of course, onion on the side. You know how I feel about onion. This salsa looks like it's gonna be hot. I don't know if it actually is. And then look at this. Little roasted jalapeno coming along for the ride. So, without any further ado, I'm gonna do this. Well, here's the thing. I don't know what all the fuss is about. They were just fine. Actually, I think they lacked salt, which is strange. Actually, often they will give you salt packets in the bag, but no salt packets in the one bag that I needed them in. But, you know, what they lacked in salt, they made up for in grease. So there's that. Very greasy taco. One significant upside was that the salsa was fire. Both literally very good fire and hot fire. My eyes were watering and my nose was running, and that's always a good sign that you're eating something hot. So I enjoyed that. Actually, here's something. Those tacos were midway so not doing it for me that I added onion to see if it would make it taste better. I immediately regretted that, but I tried it because they weren't great. So yeah, but they get a lot of play on the social medias and on the review boards. So that actually parlays pretty nicely into what I wanted to talk about, which is that everybody has sort of their own way of discovering God that works for them. These are not my tacos. Clearly, they are the tacos for a lot of other people. And lest I exhibit, and I am always, I got some on my glasses. That's, I think, taco bits somehow. God help me. At any rate, I'm on the edge of displaying taco hubris because I'm now I've made it to a lot of taquerias, and this is just on work time, y'all. You don't even know what the tacos that I'm running through when I'm not on the clock. Yeah, this Epiphany season, we're running through different ways that we can see God in our own souls and in the experiences that happen to us and in our world. And the fact of the matter is that the way that you experience God is going to be different than the way that somebody else experiences God. And that's okay. It's a natural and good thing. We all have different, if you have siblings, you all have different relationships with your parent. And there's no expectation that each of your experience of your parent is going to be exactly the same. So it is with God. Jesus shows up to us in ways that make sense to us, that resonate sort of with the natural frequency of our souls. And so throughout these weeks of this series that we're running through, Contemplating Epiphany, I'm going to be throwing a lot of different things out. We're going to be last week in our Bible study, we talked about centering prayer. Centering prayer is weird, especially if you're not inclined to do things like that. And it's definitely not going to be, I encouraged everybody in the group to do it for a couple weeks and every day and to just practice it. And I fully expect for tomorrow night when we get back together, and you're welcome to join us. The Zoom link will be on our social page. I fully expect for people to be like, that was weird, and I'm not even going to try for another week because I don't like it. It doesn't do it for me. And that's okay. That's totally okay. I think about the Desert Fathers. I had a professor in seminary, who was a very slight man, and he was very, his field of study was Eastern Orthodoxy, and he spent a lot of time in Russia studying the Russian Orthodox Church, and he would follow the Great Fast during Lent, and he's this already small man would eat like a small vegetable soup, like a cup of soup every day, and that was it for like the whole of Lent. And he found in those like rather ascetic practices this deep well of spirituality and this feeling of close proximity to God. And for a lot of people, when they do those sorts of things, what they feel is hungry a lot, and that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't have to be a soaring spiritual experience for you. I think that everybody should try these things as a practice to sort of cycle back to, and a way to recenter ourselves, just to sort of jar us out of the everyday lulls that we get into with spirituality. But not everything is going to be your jam. I mean, I know for me personally, I grew up in a Pentecostal holiness tradition, and there was lots of hand raising and tongue speaking, and that did it for me when I was a kid, and I got sort of disillusioned with that, and then I leaned heavily into, I found a lot of comfort in the liturgy and in ancient prayers, knowing that I didn't have to like manufacture this thing. That is the presence of God. I didn't have to do much. I could lean into somebody else's expressions of spirituality and devotion and allow those to speak almost on my behalf, and find God powerfully present to me in those things. And these days, I'm sort of leaning back. I mean, Richard Rohr, I feel like I keep talking about him, but when we're in these seasons of contemplation, he's a big voice for me. And but he talks about not putting away your former experiences when you find like that next level, but to transcend and include the things from your past. So what I find myself doing is sort of circling back to a lot of the expressions of spirituality in my past, certainly in terms of like this direct connection with God, and seeking after that as something that is worthwhile in spiritual practice. I mean, that is what mysticism is, right? This striving after, or allowing God, opening ourselves to God, to God's presence, so that we can be intimately connected to the divine, and to live in acknowledgement of that presence moment by moment. And so, I would just encourage you to, if something isn't working for you, you can double down on it. Absolutely, you can double down on it. But try something different. Read somebody new that is outside of your regular rhythm, and see if that speaks to you. And investigate it. If you feel the Spirit leading, investigate. Maybe Taco Hut in Lewisville is your thing, right? Maybe it is absolutely not. Maybe you're a Sabrositos guy. Or maybe you're a Martina's Grill and Taqueria lady. We all have our own things, and that's good, and that's fine. There is no right or wrong way to do this work of spirituality, so long as we are keeping Jesus in our sights, and allowing ourselves to be changed and challenged by the Spirit. If we find that all we are doing is re-emphasizing the things that we already know to be true, to the exclusion of the experience and and lives and inclusion of other people, we probably need another voice to show up in our lives. So do the searching. Knock, ask, seek, right? That whole bit that Jesus does. Do some asking, you'll find answers. Do some seeking, you'll find the presence of God. And maybe it won't be in the things that you're used to finding the presence of God in, but God promises to be found when we look for him. So grace and peace to you, and we'll talk to you soon. Adios.